Hi everyone, my name is Austin, and as the time of recording this, this is the month of November. So you know what that means?
Oh, turkey.
That's right, that is the month in which we get around the table and have ourselves a turkey. Because Thanksgiving is all about the turkey, and mashed potatoes, and getting together with family members, and being thankful for those we have with us in our lives, and being able to have this moment with them. It also makes us thankful for being around the table, being able to have food on the table, and just being able to be with others, because most people don't have that luxury. Most people probably have to scourge for all sorts of scraps in order to eat. Most people probably have to hide under a bunch of stuff for shelter. And for most people, they probably don't have the money to have this sort of luxury and sitting around the table with a home cooked meal. Most of them just go out to eat. Which brings us to today's subject. Ladies and gentlemen, Good Burger. Directed by the current head of Paramount Global, Brian Robbins, and starring Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. So without further ado, let's talk about it. The plot for Good Burger is a little something like this. Dexter Reed is your average high school student, who when school lets out, has summer vacation fresh on the mind, as most kids at that point pretty much do.
The key word there is vacation. See what I'm saying?
Excuse me. As not everyone wants to go to work, go to camp, or end up on Jason Voorhees' list of people to get slaughtered. It's usually reserved for Jeremy's old college buddies. Elsewhere, Ed is a dim-witted but well-meaning employee at Good Burger, an independently owned hamburger restaurant that's about to face competition from the newly established Mondo Burger. Because McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Jack in the Box, and various other burger chains are busy elsewhere trying to control the fast food market, and have no time for either Good Burger or Mondo Burger, I guess. Following a car crash, which Ed inadvertently caused, Dexter is forced to get a job due to not having a driver's license or insurance, and to not go to jail. Starting with Mondo Burger before getting Gax, and then going to work at Good Burger, where he eventually livens up to Ed in spite of the accident. From there, Good Burger and Mondo Burger go head to head in a battle to become the top dog, which leads to many shenanigans, including Ed creating his own sauce, leading to Good Burger getting a rise in sales, and what follows are moments most 90s kids will remember till the day they die. Yeah, very simple plot, but this is something to be expected with a film like this. This isn't Metal Gear Solid, you know. Now then, let's take a look at whatever production details there were. And now, much like a dump truck, it's time for me to dispense these facts upon you. Some may be legit, some may be full of baloney. Either way, here's what I found. To start, filming took place from March 9th to April 21st, 1997, with most of the scenes being done along Glendora Avenue in West Covina, California, which was where the TV show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was filmed, which included a restaurant currently doing business as Peter's El Loco, formerly Manny's El Loco, which functioned as a Good Burger restaurant, while the scene of Ed and Dexter's dates with Roxanne and Monique respectively was done at Malibu Castle in Redondo Beach, California. Redondo Beach was a filming location for films like Point Break, Pirates of the Caribbean, At the World's End, 1408, and Heat, alongside TV shows like The OC, Dexter, 24, CSI Miami, and even the original Star Trek, and the music video for Britney Spears' song You Drive Me Crazy. Said castle and golf courses have since gone the way of the dodo and have been replaced by Hilton Garden Inn. Also, according to Kel Mitchell, 8 Vigoda, despite being 76 at the time of filming, was able to run and climb fences on set, while Elmer's glue was used to keep the food looking good on screen. A typical trick often used in advertising in order to get customers to buy the product. In fact, the ice cream was actually vegetable shortening with food coloring because real ice cream would have melted under the hot studio lights. In an interview with a newspaper in Allentown, Pennsylvania, called The Morning Call, Kenan Thompson claimed during Good Burgers' filming there was approximately 2,000 pounds of meat on set, and some of it had gotten old. And it wasn't just Abe Vigoda and his, He said, it was so nasty. Some of the burgers would stay out there for a long time. I felt sorry for the extras who had to eat them with cold, clammy fries. But on screen, those burgers look good. Again, not unlike the advertising world. Lastly, Kel Mitchell didn't seem to have fun with the strawberry jacuzzi scene, as strawberry yogurt was used, and he deemed it uncomfortably sticky, cold, and wet, and said it tasted like glue.
Yogurt! Yogurt! I hate yogurt! Even with strawberries!
And that's all I've got. So let's go to the final verdict. Good Burger is a movie I remember watching many years ago, which is around 2012 or 2013, back when the Teen Nick channel was doing a ton of reruns of classic Nickelodeon shows from the 1990s. In particular, All That. All That certainly had a lot of sketches that I remember, from The Loud Librarian to Ask Ashley, and my personal favorite, Vital Information, namely those with Lori Beth Denberg. Of course, I also remember the Good Burger sketches, but while they were good, no pun intended, they simply couldn't hold a candle to some of the other sketches. Pierre Escargot, anyone? But nevertheless, I did watch the movie back then, probably because it was on HBO, and this was my reaction back then. And here's my reaction now.
That's hysterical. Ask a 10-year-old, they'll tell you. That's funny!
Excuse me. Yeah, that's my reaction. Nah, in all seriousness, nothing has really changed. I love Good Burger, and it's still a fun watch even now. It brings me back to a time that I consider the greatest. And that I was going to make a video on, but never finished because someone kept dropping crap everywhere back in November 2022.
Oh, man. Don't worry, folks. It's not real.
But before I get into talking about poop, those memories, and why November 2022 sucked, let's address the elephant in the room here. He's pink. Take him! Nah, in all seriousness, the real elephant in the room here is that the movie is stupid and silly. And it's not meant for those who are looking for something sophisticated and full of depth. Also, don't expect this. Or this.
Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Unless they've been me and been there and know what the hell they're yelling.
This.
Celebi, you can't die!
Or this. Or even this.
Be brave, Jerry. part of me will always be with you. Remember, you have a lion's heart.
This is not that type of movie. It's the kind of movie you put on when you're feeling down, and you need a laugh or two, which is probably something you'll find here. Whether it's Ed's dream and then waking up before getting ready for work, the scene with Ed in the milkshake machine, the Shaquille O'Neal cameo, the scene with Roxanne, Connie Muldoon's order, the scene at a mental institution, and Ed's one moment of clear intelligence. There's something that will warrant a good, healthy amount of laughs. Or at least a few chuckles. But you can't just look like a mannequin and get some laughs. You gotta look animated through your performance. I think everyone is pretty good here. With Kenan Thompson certainly doing a good job here as Dexter Reed. As Dexter, Thompson is a teenage slacker who wants to goof off and lounge around all summer, only to have his plans dashed when he accidentally crashes his mother's car into the car of his teacher, forcing him to get a job in order to pay off the damages. He eventually ends up working at Good Burger following a short stint at Mondo Burger, and warms up to Ed in spite of the latter's stupidity and for inadvertently causing the car damage. Even though Dexter does try to take advantage of Ed by having him sign a contract and taking a good chunk of what Ed earns, Thompson ensures that while Dexter may act like a jerk, he does remain likable, and eventually realizes what he is doing is wrong, and that's in part due to Thompson's charisma and charm, which he definitely has a lot of. Kel Mitchell, meanwhile, shines as Ed, the dim-witted but nevertheless kind-hearted cashier at Good Burger. Mitchell brings a lot of energy to the role, and makes Ed feel alive and animated, much like on the show, and brings a lot of physical comedy into the mix. Ed is a fun character, and Mitchell also gives him some pretty funny lines, and has great chemistry with Thompson, playing off each other like how they did during their prime. Prior to Thompson ending up on Saturday Night Live, which Mitchell tried auditioning for, but sadly got turned down. Now, before we continue talking about other actors who have fun with the film, let's address the other elephant in the room. Because it's not like I have a million of these. Anyway, Dan Schneider is in the film. And as he does play a significant role in the film, and was also a writer for it. Now, say whatever you want about the man. You could say he's a wannabe John Wayne Gacy. You could say he's the Harvey Weinstein of children's television. You could say that he should be offered as a sacrifice to ensure world peace, a cleaner earth, everything costing 25 cents, and for all the deaths of John Belushi, Sam Kinison, John Candy, Chris Farley, Heath Ledger, Robin Williams, David Bowie, Carrie Fisher, Tom Petty, Norm Macdonald, Kevin Conroy, Justin David Frank, Paul Rubens, and so on to be undone. You can say whatever you want about him, and you'd be justified. But for me, I'm going to put whatever controversies aside and look at the quality of the performance. In the case of Dan Schneider, who plays Mr. Bailey, the manager of Good Burger, it's fine. He's a memorable character, and he actually delivers a pretty funny line.
I suppose I can always feed my mother cat food.
As for everyone else, Abe Pagoda is pretty entertaining as Otis, the elderly deep fryer at Good Burger, who pretty much sets out to play the type of character he played in his lifetime. A grumpy old man and a dead-end job, not to mention pokes fun at the numerous times someone falsely reported his death, prior to his actual death on January 26, 2016. You also have Jan Schweiterman as Kurt Boswell, the owner and founder of Mondo Burger, who delivers a deliciously over-the-top performance as the big bad of the film, and also has a great exchange with Ed, which also feels reminiscent of Garth's exchange with Honey Hornay in Wayne's World 2. Here's what I mean.
I'm getting Frank.
Okay, can I still be Gar?
Who's Kurt?
I'm Kurt.
I'm Ed.
I'm aware.
You said you were Kurt.
There's Shar Jackson as Monique, who's Dexter's love interest in the film and also delivers 2 great lines.
I thought I'd go home.
Home? Why?
Well, that's where my stuff is.
So, is this your first time?
Keep talking.
Josh Server as Fizz, who works the drive-thru. The late Ron Lester, Billy Bob from Varsity Blues, as Spatch, the head fry cook who's really not a people person. And Sinbad as Mr. Wheat, Dexter's accent-prone teacher who's quite the snazzy dresser, and also delivers a line I use whenever I find myself in an unbearable predicament.
Why? What have I done?
Plus, keep on the lookout for not just Shaq, but also Linda Cardellini as Heather, one of the patients at the asylum Ed, Dexter, and Otis are sent to. George Clinton as Dancing Crazy, another patient at the Nut House. Robert Wool as the construction worker at the beginning. Carmen Electra as Roxanne, which Mandela effect made me believe that it was Jennifer Love Hewitt. J. August Richards, Deathlock from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as Griffin, one of Kurt's goons. And Lori Beth Denberg as Connie Muldoon, the customer that says everything way too fast and causes Ed to blow a gasket. The movie also has tight pacing, clocking it at 95 minutes and never drags on for too long, going from scene to scene without missing a beat and never overstaying its welcome. Unlike the rats that came in from St. Louis. Thank God for the Exterminator. It's also very well shot, being filmed by the late Mac Allberg, who actually shot 3 films for Stuart Gordon, including Reanimator, From Beyond, and Dolls. Only here, he had to make gross stuff look not gross, as opposed to making gross stuff look exactly what it was supposed to. Aside from making the food look good, it also looks dynamic and captures the facial expressions and body language of the actors very well, and looks competent, which is always appreciated even for a film based on a sketch from All That. Most would cheap out on the look of the film, but the production value looks good. And with the good set design, the cinematography is quite good, even if you're expecting someone's head to be near a woman's private region. Finally, the music is funky, and is 90s in the best way possible. For the score, it was composed by Stuart Copeland, the former drummer for the Police, as well as composer for films like Rumblefish, Wall Street, Talk Radio, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Lorenzo's Oil, Fresh, Suburbia, Gridlocked, and this stinker. Not to mention the first 4 Spyro games, and Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. And it sounds pretty snazzy, fitting each scene very well and having an R&B flair that fits with what the film has going for it. The other part of the soundtrack is also pretty fun, filled with some hip-hop, R&B, and even some rock music, with some personal highlights of mine being George Clinton and Digital Underground's deeper mix of Knee Deep, which has been in my head ever since listening to it, and of course, We're All Dudes by Less Than Jake, featuring Kel Mitchell, which is the type of movie that makes me want to throw a party, watch UHF, and is my feel-good song for whenever necessary. It's perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. Well, okay, maybe add some Foo Fighters in there, or some Soundgarden. That would make it even better. If there were any gripes with the film, I'd say that, like I said, it's pretty absurd, and I could also see some finding Ed to be annoying at times. But that's just because those people aren't the ones made for this type of film. And that is to be expected, and we must accept them for who they are, regardless. And overall, Good Burger is delightful and charming through and through, even after all this time. Good Burger had its release on July 25th, 1997, where it grossed $23.7 million on a budget of $8.5 million, ensuring that it was a box office success, even if it wasn't a big smash like some other films released that year, and received mixed reviews. Excuse me. With some stating that it was more or less made for kids, and that they would enjoy it more than they did, the critics meaning. And well, those kids grew up, and Good Burger is still a cult classic. A popular one, in fact. With Nathan Rabin even noting how popular it was back then and why to many millennials out there, it still holds up. While Batman and Robin remains terrible even after its release. As for a sequel, one was potentially going to be made just after its release, but was ultimately turned into a children's book called Good Burger 2 Go, leaving us without a true film sequel for quite some time. That is, until now, with Good Burger 2 finally being unleashed upon us this year. For Paramount Plus members, though, I'll probably have to wait for it to come out on DVD or Blu-ray and to see if it gets one. So yeah, Good Burger's still popular. It finally got its sequel, and that's good. Now let's see if we can get a Detective Dan film off the ground. Or at least a Coach Crittenden mockumentary. That man's lived a sad, miserable life, you know. So that's Good Burger, ladies and gentlemen. It is certified fresh over here at my headquarters, whatever I want to call it, basically, or something. Anyway, it's a funny movie, and I definitely can recommend it. Whether you decide to pick it up on DVD or on Blu-ray, Good Burger is a good time to be had for all. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous and silly, but that's what's amusing about it. It's funny, it's charming, it's got a great soundtrack. Overall, it's a film that brings you back to that simpler time, with simpler pleasures, where your clothes always matched, you could paint on the walls and nobody would yell at you, and it was much easier to hit a baseball. I'm just referencing SpongeBob, really. That's what happens when I review a Nickelodeon movie. It always comes back to SpongeBob. Hell, I think anything I review pretty much comes back to SpongeBob, or Star Wars, or something at the very least. I mean, I'm pretty much abusing every Digimon clip I think I've recorded on this computer that I've used here. Anyway, Good Burger. Go watch it. Please, do so. Because I'm a dude, you're a dude, and we're all dudes. Yeah. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say here, so, yeah, that is Good Burger. Hope you enjoyed the review, found it entertaining, educational, and made you want to go seek out this movie. And to, everyone out there, I hope that you have a happy and welcoming Thanksgiving, and that you have the time of your life, all the time, every time, and just enjoy yourself. Even if you're not having a turkey for Thanksgiving and you're just going out for pizza, go be thankful for those who are precious to you, and just be thankful that you're in good health, and yeah, just have a happy Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. And so with that, I will catch you later. I'll see you next time.